It's the Playhouse Podcast with Kat and JJ.
Can't believe it. I missed everything.
Missed the show?
What am I going to do?
Check out the Daily Podcast.
Imagine waking up and your car's not there. What the hell happened to it? Where the hell did it go? We had a great edition of Listener Bingo this morning. That's coming up a little bit later on in the podcast. Let's get it started. Over the weekend, I was exchanging text messages with my daughter, who's a junior in college. And I'm not going to say what happened to her, but she thought it was morbidly embarrassing.
Okay.
And I said, Reagan, you don't know what being embarrassed is. Growing up the way I looked and as big a mouth as I had, that's embarrassing.
You never admit that.
And
normally
I thought,
you skirt around it.
I thought, all right, this would be a great time to, for her sake, really delve deep into what was your most embarrassing life moment? And you had one at 9 years old.
Yeah, mine was in Mrs. Kirsten's class, and I was sitting next to Brandon Deshane, and he was just a beauty, just olive skin, platinum blonde hair naturally. You know, he was who everybody wanted. And I got to sit next to him in her class. And I was an overalls girl for a good period of my life. And the strap had caught on the back of my chair, put a little bit too much pressure on my little belly. And
out it came?
Out it came. And then you try to make the noise happen with like your desk or your shoe. You're like, what the heck is going on with my shoe here? You know, and then it doesn't do it again. And it didn't smell the best. I think I was sick or I don't know. But I just remember like, I'm done. I'm done. Put a fork in me. This is the most humiliating thing. And luckily, that's kind of the last thing I can think of, aside from that Earth, Wind, and Fire concert at the casino, because that was pretty bad. That was like my first time ever on stage.
What'd you do?
And I just crapped the bed. It was horrible. And the spotlight coming through and all the words mixing together. And it was like a horror film. And like people were looking at me like, oh, poor girl,
you know,
like
pity.
Who did they, you know, is this a Make-A-Wish? Like, why did they allow her to go on stage and do something like this? Are they giving this girl a chance to do something she's always wanted? It was bad. And I'm like, they'll never have me back. Yet they have me back for like hundreds of gigs. But that was pretty embarrassing if I had to pick out something from my adulthood.
I was at a party my sophomore year in college, and where I went to school at Gustavus Adolphus, a lot of the homes in that area that kids rent are old, like turn of the century homes, like 1900s. And it was this party, and most people were in the basement because that's where the keg was. And it got really, really packed. Well, we had a big dinner that night, and I was in the far corner of the basement. And the worst was, like, guys are just animals. So guys would take a whiz in, like, the cellar down there. Like, people would just pee in there all the time, but I had to do a do.
Yuck.
And I couldn't get out of there soon enough. And these old homes, by the way, were made with, like, one bathroom.
Uh-huh.
And as I was waiting for the girls to use the bathroom,
oh, my God.
Bingo. And that was it. I had to waddle my way back all the way up the hill. I got about halfway there, and I was at a public park.
What a mess.
And I dipped behind the slide, took off my underwear, and left them in the garbage, and then waddled my way back up. And I was like...
Can you imagine that poor Parks and Rec worker that had to come across your dirty panties because you couldn't be an adult and hold it?
That was the most embarrassing because my roommate found out that I had crapped my pants at this party.
Yeah.
And decided to bring it up at every party after that, which was great. So I just wanted to know if there was just one thing that sticks out as the most embarrassing moment of your life. Antonio, I appreciate you holding, man. What do you got for us?
Oh, brother, man, this was over 20 years ago, and it still haunts me to this day. I was in elementary school, and we were playing volleyball, and you know, I was always the guy doing the things. However, this time I got pants. My buddy pulled, well, not my buddy anymore after that.
Yeah.
He pulled my pants down.
Oh.
And, yeah, I had, well, the thing was I had Barney underwears on. And to this day, I swear, people come, when I go back to my hometown, they're like, yo, boy, like they can't remember my name, but they remember me by Barney.
Barney.
You know, and I took my fiance back home, and she's like, what's this whole Barney thing?
Oh, she doesn't know the story.
Well, she knows now. Everyone knows the Barney story now.
I don't know why, but almost all of these embarrassing stories have something to do with flatulence, underwear, poops, something like that.
Well, those are all very embarrassing. And you would think that my top coming down and Amos seeing it would be embarrassing. It wasn't. It's weird what I find and deem embarrassing, but we have some text coming through. Okay, I won't say her name, right? It says,
yeah, don't say my name.
Went number 2 at the grocery store. Won't say what grocery store. Early morning hours after driving around with friends, whooping it up, and out was a ghost. And it was a ghost town. When I proceeded to go wipe, there was no TP. I didn't think much of waddling over to the next stall with my pants down by my ankles. But of course, with my back to the bathroom door, somebody came in and scared the heck out of me. And then I tripped and fell and had to get up with my poopy butt right in front of them. This was 17 years ago, and I still won't go there. I would not either. They probably have your photo up in the break room.
Sonia, thank you for holding. I appreciate it. Can you tell us the most embarrassing moment of your life?
Listen, I go to the chiropractor all the time. I love it. I highly endorse it. My chiropractor's super hot. He's all like jacked fitness, like buff guy.
Sure.
I'm in there. I'm on the table. Okay. I got like my, stretchy pants on. He's bending me over on like when they turn you to the side to crack like your hip.
Yep.
And I ripped the biggest fart ever.
Girl, they probably experience that often and are used to it, but like the worst part, did it smell?
Oh my God. I don't know. He was down near that part. I don't know. I didn't smell anything, but like the sound ricocheted off those like leather tables that they have you on.
Oh my God. I would have died.
I did. I tried to be like, oh, did a chair break on the other side of the office? I heard a noise. It was so lame.
Tell me you're at least going back to see if he remembers you, or are you just completely done with this chiropractor?
No, never. I've been going there for 10 years. I'm getting a new chiropractor.
Good for you.
I'm running out of time, but we can't get enough of these. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. Do we want to say your name?
Yeah, because the story is not about me, so it's fine.
Oh, please, by all means. First off, what is your name?
My name is Vanessa.
Okay, Vanessa, last embarrassing story. What do you got?
Okay, so this is about my friend, so I'll make it really fast for you guys. So in college, she had this huge college crush, and one night after drinking, he invited her home, and she goes back to his apartment, and she was sick, so obviously she was drinking too much. So she goes to his bathroom, and she throws up, but the toilet seat lid was down, so she gets throw up all over his bathroom.
Oh, no.
So, of course, it gets in her hair, so she's, like, trying to clean up all of her throw up, and then she realizes there's puke in her hair, so she goes to wash her hair in his bathtub, and she flips her hair in, and she hit her nose on the ledge of the tub and broke her nose. Oh. So she has a bloody nose, puke is everywhere, like she's a total mess, and she's like, I'm going to clean myself up, we're going to do this. So she goes back out, she goes to the guy, and he was like, why is your hair wet? What's going on? He has no idea what happened in the bathroom. She cleans herself up.
Yeah.
And this is so gross, you guys. The next morning, she found out she got her period, so his bed was covered in blood. She stole his sheets and flipped his mattress and never talked to him again.
How
took
can
his sheets out of his house.
How can so
threw
many
him in his
bad
dumpster.
things?
I tell her story every chance I get, you guys.
I'm glad.
It just gets worse and worse and worse.
This was the perfect cherry on top of the sundae. One thing.
It was so good. He
after
texted
another.
her and he said, "Did you take my sheets?" And she just never said anything back. And then I can't help but think, 5 years later, when he moved out of that apartment,
Yeah.
he grabbed that mattress and he's like, "Why does the other side of my mattress have blood on it?" And he would never connect the dots.
Jen, how we feeling this morning?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. Tell us the embarrassing moment, please.
So, I mean, it was embarrassing at the time, but now it's a legendary story that's going to live forever.
Right.
You're a legend.
That, right?
Good for you.
Yeah. So I was in college. The house full of girls. We went out partying the night before. We ended with a nightcap of tequila and Taco Bell.
Love it.
Yep. So the next morning, so we were in a rental house, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the next morning, I was, sleeping in late, and my roommates were up, and apparently the landlord had called a plumber over. And they had told my other roommates, don't use the toilet because we're opening up the pipe. Okay?
Yeah.
So you can see where this is going. Jen is still sleeping, so Jen doesn't get this information. She wakes up and goes to the bathroom because of what she had the night before. And, the toilet's like kind of shaking while I'm sitting on it, but I just really didn't think anything of it. And then I go to flush the toilet, and all I hear is yelling coming from the basement. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. So I just go back to bed, like, okay.
Oh, my God.
So my roommates come in, and they're like, oh, my God, Jen, did you just use the toilet? I said, yeah. They're like, you just pooped down the plumber. And I was like,
Oh, my God. Was it a neat one? You have ones that are just, like, quick to clean up, or was it really messy?
Well, no, we had tequila and Taco Bell before bed. So
That's the perfect combination.
All right.
It was not good.
Wow.
Not good.
And tell me that people at least still bring this up more than dopey radio shows, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's brought up. That's
right.
a story that will not die.
This is of legendary status. Thank you for sharing with us. I hope you have a great morning.
Thanks.
Take
Bye.
care. Hi, Laura. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Great, thank you. Every single one of these stories has to do with underwear, poops, or farts. Your most embarrassing moment, does it fit one of those criteria?
It does. It
Yes.
has to deal with Barney underwear, actually.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Oh.
Another Barney underwear. Let's go.
Yeah.
We had a quota to meet, and we are now there. Good.
Antonio's story gave me support. So,
Okay.
yeah. So I was like age 8, 9. I think I was in 2nd or 3rd grade. I was out on the playground at recess with everybody. And I was wearing a dress and Barney underwear that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I made the choice to go down one of the slides. And those slides that have the corners at the top?
Yeah.
Like where you just like sit down and the corners are up there and it kind of separates the slide from the other slides.
Okay.
I decided to go down that slide and my dress got caught on the corner.
Oh.
And as I was going down the slide, I was completely de-dressed.
Oh, my God.
So I was totally naked in front of all of my peers, as well as all the teachers that were out at recess.
Aww.
And I was hiding naked in my Barney underwear.
Oh,
underneath
my
the slide.
God. I think you're winning today.
Until one of my friends brought me my dress.
Oh, can't you just picture it? It just takes her dress from behind.
Yep.
Your little arms go up, and it just takes it all.
And
Yep.
how
it was
long
pretty awful.
did you get the Barney nickname like Antonio did, or did they go with something else?
No, I luckily slipped under the slide fast enough to. I felt like I wasn't really seen, but I was still crying. You know, so I was pretty upset. But I feel like it was kind of a quick process. I went down the slide really fast, got de-dressed, and then my dress was brought back to me about 2 or 3 minutes later.
Wow, I bet it felt like a lifetime.
Has modern therapy really helped you through this situation?
What was that, JJ?
Has modern therapy really helped you through this situation, or is this it for you?
I think you guys are it.
Okay.
So. Thank
God.
you.
It's free service. Thanks, Jay. Have a great morning, Laura.
Bingo! How fun!
Last week, someone lost an eye at bingo.
Bingo! Bingo what bingo? Bingo!
Bingo! All right, so only the first person that can get through is going to get the bingo this morning, but stop. You got to know what we're looking for, and you can't call yet. You got to hear us both out. This morning, Kat is looking for anyone listening who
had their car found somewhere other than where you parked it. So maybe somebody stole it, put it on blocks. Maybe you had it towed.
I did this with my son. He kept leaving his keys in his car in the driveway.
Yeah.
So I moved it down the street one morning, and he was getting ready to go to school. He was a senior in high school, and he was wigging out. He thought his car had been stolen. It was a good lesson learned.
This driver in Florida spotted an SUV directly on top of a dumpster.
I text my buddy. I'm like, is that fair game? Is that free? It's in the dumpster? I was like, I wasn't sure. I had to do it like a double take, and I seen a car on top of a dumpster. I'm like, are you serious? So I'm just driving, went to Publix. I snapped a picture, and then on the way back, I stopped, took a little video.
So it wasn't a wild crash or anything. Some construction workers used their forklift to temporarily move it because it was in the way of what they needed to do.
Instead of putting it down somewhere else, they put it on a dumpster.
Yeah, so your car was found somewhere other than where you parked it.
I'm going to look for anyone listening who has written fan mail, actually wrote something and mailed it to someone's fan club.
Yes.
I read this amazing story this morning. You know the name Cy Young, right?
No.
Okay, so Cy Young was probably the greatest pitcher that ever played baseball, right?
Okay.
That's why they named the Best Pitcher Award the Cy Young Award every year, right? There's this historical picture of him in his 80s, and he looked really old, was walking with a cane, but every week he would still go to the post office of the little town in Ohio that he ended up settling into and get his fan mail. And it would be bundles and bundles of fan mail decades after he had ever thrown his last pitch that he would still get every single week.
Yeah.
And I was
that's
that's
cute.
crazy. And I was thinking to myself, I've never written a fan mail letter.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you have.
Don't you remember that story? I wrote not only a scene for Home Improvement, one of my favorite shows when I was 11 years old, wrote the scene, would have won an Emmy. And then I also wrote a little letter to Jonathan Taylor Thomas. I would love to star in a scene
naughty
with
things
you,
with
blah,
you?
blah,
Oh.
blah. And then my grandma was like, we should go through your memories box. And I open it up and I'm like, you were supposed to send this. Why is this here?
Well, it was 8 cents postage at
I
the
guess,
time. I'm sure
yeah.
she probably didn't want to. And that's the only fan mail you've ever written?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking for anyone listening who, and I'm not talking an email. You didn't send them a DM. I'm talking you actually put pen to paper and wrote a chunk of
Cute.
fan mail. Tristan, you're going to get the bingo, but which one do you fit, brother?
I picked finding your car.
All right, so
man.
You went outside. Car wasn't there. Where was it?
We were out in Houston on vacation, and we were downtown Houston out for a few drinks, and we parked in a Walgreens parking lot, only parking there was. Come out, and all my buddies are doing the old typical, dude, where's my car?
Yeah.
So we ended up finding a tow truck driver that was towing a car next to where ours was, and we had to walk 5 miles to go pull it out of impound at 2:30 in the
5
morning.
miles? You didn't take a cab or anything?
We didn't know where we were, and we were a little tuned up already.
And those Walgreens guys got no chill, man. How long was your car there?
Probably 2.5, 3 hours.
I would never think that's okay. It's a business.
No.
And there were probably
Yeah.
signs.
Was this a rental too, or did you drive to Houston?
It was a rental BMW.
Oh, God.
Jesus.
Oh, God.
And I'm sure they've got some kind of a rental sticker on it, so those tow truck drivers are probably like, yeah, that's fair
Yeah.
game.
It was off of one of those rental apps for private parties, too, so we had to get a hold of that guy at 2 in the morning to get the car out of impound.
Not a lot of hoops.
You're the worst tourist ever, man.
Speaking of impounds,
Yeah,
have you
he
guys ever
wasn't
watched
happy.
Parking Wars? It's out of Philadelphia.
I've seen that, yeah.
Dang, I was on a little thing this weekend. I watched 5 episodes in a row. They get angry, but it was almost like watching these people. It's a sport for them to find
Well, and
people
a lot of those
that are.
A lot of those are no payment, right? Like they haven't paid their.
They have 7 outstanding tickets, and they put the boot on it. And
How much extra did this end up costing you, Tristan?
I think they got us for a late night fee, and they nailed us with fees. I think we ended up paying $800 or $900.
Oh, wow.
Plus a 5 mile walk,
And they
half
said
tipsy.
Yeah, and they towed it 15 minutes before we actually went out there, so we were so close to actually not having it towed, too.
Almost got away with it.
do you ever look back and just
Yeah.
thought of the person that wanted to leave a half hour before, and you're like, no, we got to stay for another drink. A half hour, that's it, tops. All right.
Tuesday morning during our live show, we've got 3 chances to win $5,000, 1 chance to win $2,000, and tickets for Flannel Fest at the Ledge coming up October 5th. If you want in on this, got to be here Tuesday for the live show. Right now, let's finish up the podcast. So I hear that yesterday, and I see the Amazon guy walking away. I said, hey, I got a question for you. And he goes, yeah. And I'm never trying to slow these guys down after hearing from one of our listeners that they get paid for 10 hours, even if they get done in 5. Mm-hmm. And this guy's always a hustler, the guy that comes to our place. And I said, hey, you like that floor, or you like that doormat? Because our doormat is, obviously we're a big baseball family. It kind of rules everything we do. But it's in the shape of a home plate, and it just says home.
Oh, cute.
Right?
Okay.
And I always thought that was kind of cool. And I had gotten it maybe for a birthday or Christmas present a while ago. And my wife wasn't a big fan of it, so it went in our back door at our old house. But now it's at the front door because I threw down the floor mats, right? Or I
Get it,
down the
son.
doormats. And I said, you like that? He goes, yeah, I could tell you guys were nice people. And I said, well, wait, tell me more. And he said, I can tell whether or not you're a good person, you're a good family man, and everything by your doormat. I see hundreds of them, if not thousands of them a week. I can tell if I'm going to like you by your doormat.
What did he say would constitute a bad person?
If you have no doormat.
What if you have a doormat with nothing?
Nope.
So that would qualify?
Yeah. So he said to me, if your doormat is either it has something funny on it, like go away, or it has your name on it, or is unique, I think you're a pretty good person.
How does go away?
Because it's funny.
Make it
it's
better
funny.
than mine.
He's like, stay the hell away from me. What is yours? Is just a plain mat?
It's one of those plain tan mats from IKEA. I went there. They were literally $3.99 each. I bought one for my garage door going into my house, and then one, and it's way too small. So
lame.
Once the holidays start, I'm going to swap it out with a really cute brand new one that my mom got me. It says Merry Christmas on it. It's cute.
Lame. If you have something personalized, if you have your family's last name on it, if it's cool like mine and it's a home plate and it says home, it shows some personality, then you're good to go. But if it's plain or if it's funny, like go away or Chihuahua at large or something like that, then it's good. According to my Amazon guy, he now has really, really let me into the world of doormat profiling.
Well, I guess he's done some market research, but
who would know better?
I'm sure that there have been plenty of other delivery people out there that have run into the slums of society that had a welcome doormat.
Welcome doesn't count either. That's lame.
Welcome is the nicest thing you can say to somebody.
Welcome is lame. It's not original. It's not unique. It has nothing to do with anything about your personality.
Welcome would not point to a negative person.
You were likely given that. No, I'm not saying negative. You're just lame. If it says welcome, lame. If it says nothing, lame.
I have anything but lame, but my doormat is lame.
The biggest criteria of whether or not you apparently are a good person is your door. Not whether you help other people in your life, not whether you're kind to others, not whether you do some great charity work, not whether you're really engaged with your church, but your doormat.
I'm going to go on Amazon.
I win. Kat loses. Because she's lame and hers is just a plain doormat. So I'm telling you, look outside today. If you've got a really unique one, shoot us a quick text. I want to see a picture of your doormat because according to my Amazon driver, Reggie, you're lame.
Whatever, Reg.
If Reggie was to roll up to your house, he'd go and he would just toss the package, take the picture on the way out, and not think that you were an engaging human being, that's somebody that he'd want to be friends with.
I'm going to order this one. It's $20. Hippity hoppity. Get off my property.
There. That's
actually pretty funny.
I like it. If you're rolling with that plain doormat like Kat has, stop being lame. Up your game. Reggie said so.
1047 KCLD and Key of St. Cloud has free cash. Just be fast or you'll lose it all.
So, what's going on with Sean this morning? What are you up to, man?
Headed to work.
What do you do, sir?
Warehouse selecting.
Okay.
Is that what you want to do? What do you want to do in life?
Say nothing.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I get older and older. You know that Peter Gibbons character from Office Space where he's like, I just want to sit on my ass and do nothing all day and not regret a single second of it. I'm at that point right now.
I know you are.
That would be the extreme brass ring for me
I came up with a saying a long time ago, and you can use it if you want. But it's, if you love your job, you won't work a day in your life. Okay?
It was Kat or Teddy Roosevelt. I can't remember who came up with that. But regardless, let's get you some money. Have you heard free money high-low before, Sean?
Yes.
Okay, in front of Kat sits an envelope. We're going to rip this open, find out how much money you are playing for. You know it's somewhere between $104,000 and $5,000. Now, in an effort to get you guys a little more money and make a few more winners, we've upped our normal clock to 12 seconds, but I'm willing to make yours 15 seconds. If you can prove you've been listening a little bit longer, how much money did my wife win in pull tabs this weekend?
$600.
Yeah, there it is. He was listening right away. All right, so my wife now carrying around a sock full of money.
She didn't give you any?
I got none. She even, so normally, If you go to a bar and you win on pull tabs, don't you pay out your tab in cash?
Yeah.
Yeah. My wife goes, you want to pay that? I go, I don't have any money on me, Trish. She goes, I know. So I throw out the credit card, right? So you got 15 seconds now to figure out how much money we're dealing with. And it's pretty simple. We won't start the clock till you give us your first guess, Sean. And after that, Kat will give you a higher or lower instruction. You follow her directions, and you end up on the right number before the clock expires, and you find yourself a whole lot wealthier. Any questions for us?
Nope.
All right, well, we're ready to go whenever you are. So clear your brain, take a deep breath. You have 15 seconds to figure out this dollar amount. And we won't start this clock until you give us your first guess. So good luck, Sean.
Thank you. 2,500.
Higher.
2,600.
Higher.
3,000.
Lower.
2,800.
Lower.
2,750.
Lower.
2,700.
Higher.
2,725.
Oh, my God. You played really well.
We
You
were
stayed
honing
around
in
that.
on it. How much was it?
It was 2718.
Boy, you've been married how long now? 14 years?
13.
13 years?
Mm-hmm.
When you went through your breakup with your other fiance before you started hooking up with Derek,
Mm-hmm.
what was the first thing you did after that breakup? Like, a lot of people deal with them in different ways. Do you remember what was you didn't focus on your work. We know that. What did you do with your extra time?
I'm going to punch you in the face.
Violence is never the answer, by the way.
I went directly to Taco John's.
Okay.
I got one of those Ole burritos and came to work. And then,
But like with your free time afterwards, right? Like, so all of a sudden you're in a relationship.
How long did you think I was single for? I literally was single for like 5 days.
Oh.
And then Derek and I started dating. See, that's the thing. If I could go back and talk to a younger Kat and say, girl, grab her by the shoulders and say, you need time for yourself. I would do that.
So half of the people that were surveyed said the first thing they do is they re-extend and spend more time with their friends and their family, people that maybe they hadn't spent as much time on or with when they were in that relationship. Number 2 is work. They want work or hobbies to get a little bit more time because they probably weren't spending enough time on that.
Yep.
And the number 3 is exercise. More people will start going to the gym. You'll start focusing on your health versus what your relationship's worth.
Mm-hmm.
A couple people, it said counseling is one thing, and some people travel. And it brought me back to, I can't remember which listener we had, but she said, I just got divorced, so I'm going to travel for the next 6 months.
Okay.
And they were going on cruises by themselves. They were going to the Philippines by themselves. And I was like, man, I could never do something like that.
That's incredible.
Could you travel overseas by yourself?
Yes, I could in a heartbeat. Yep. I think when you travel with people, they have to be of your travel ability or higher, because the other ones just slow you down. You got to think
like your
for
family.
people. Like Derek is a vacation princess. He doesn't know where we're going until we get to the gate. He's like, where are we? Where
It's
are
a
we?
good way to
off
live, though.
I don't even know what that would feel like. You know, it's blissful, I'm sure, and it's his money that pays for those trips. But I was like, you know, some days I'm like, wow, what a life you live. You know, so I could totally do that by myself.
And you know, when you hear people that they go through a traumatic breakup, you always think they start doing drugs or they go on a bender or they go drinking or whatever like that.
Yeah.
But like rarely were any of these answers brought up in this survey, that people just started doing self-destructive kind of things after a bad breakup. More people are just going to spend time with their friends. They're going to go to work and probably give a little bit more effort at work. And they're going to go exercise. Those are the big 3.
Great.
So I want to, are you attending one of these?
I said great in a really bad, I didn't
Yeah.
mean it like that. I was like, good for you, kind of great. That's amazing.
That's not what it sounded like.